Today's video is not just another reaction, not just another breakdown of the Dallas Cowboys. What we're diving into now is the emotional core, the structural reality, and the future of a team that is trying to hold itself together after one of the most difficult stretches any NFL locker room can face. And right in the middle of all this turbulence, the Cowboys have made two massive moves that could reshape the second half of their season: the arrivals of Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams. And yet, as national analysts on ESPN pointed out, even these reinforcements step into a defense that has been shaken not only physically but emotionally in ways that statistics cannot fully capture. Because to understand where the Dallas Cowboys stand today, you have to look beyond the 3-5-1 record. You have to look beyond the losses, beyond the missed tackles, beyond the 52.6% third down conversion rate allowed. You have to look at a locker room navigating grief, pressure, expectation, and the weight of a franchise that demands excellence every single Sunday, no matter the circumstance. And in this moment, Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams are stepping into not just a new defensive scheme, not just a new playbook, but into a team trying to find its edge again after being emotionally gutted. When the ESPN crew discussed the Cowboys, the conversation took a sharp turn from football to humanity. They highlighted the reinforcements Dallas had secured at the trade deadline, mentioning the additions of Logan Wilson, the veteran linebacker, and Quinnen Williams, the powerhouse defensive tackle. But then they immediately acknowledged the reality. This defense has been hurting in more ways than one. They emphasized that the Cowboys were entering Monday Night Football dealing with more than just execution issues or schematic problems. They were carrying the emotional weight of losing Marshawn Kneeland, a young player whose presence, according to Dak Prescott himself, was a light in the building, a force of positivity who took care of his body, worked like a veteran, and embodied everything you want in a teammate. And losing him shook this team. And that is why the comments on ESPN mattered, because they did not talk about Wilson and Williams as miracle workers. They did not pretend two late-season trades could instantly erase the pain this defense has lived with or magically fix all the structural problems that have haunted Dallas through the first half of the season. What they said was simple but powerful. The Cowboys got better with these additions, but they are still dealing with the emotional fallout of a tragedy, and it will take time for all of that to settle. Logan Wilson arrives as a proven leader, a defensive captain in Cincinnati, someone who understands communication, responsibility, film study, and playing disciplined football on the second level. He's not just a tackler, he's a diagnostic weapon. He's the kind of linebacker who sees a play forming before the ball leaves the quarterback's hand. He brings something the Cowboys have been lacking all season: stability in the middle of the field. For weeks, fans have watched opposing offenses attack the seams, manipulate the linebackers with motion, and convert third downs like it was nothing. Wilson changes that. He brings experience, awareness, and command. He's not a superstar, but he is exactly the kind of mind this defense needed. Then there's Quinnen Williams, a true disruptor, a force, a one-man pocket collapsing wall. The Cowboys haven't had someone with his combination of power, leverage, and interior explosiveness in years. And as ESPN noted indirectly, that absence is one of the reasons Dallas has lived in third and short situations all season. No interior push means no disruption. No disruption means quarterbacks sit comfortably. And when a quarterback sits comfortably, the ball moves, the clock moves, the defense breaks. Williams fixes that. He changes the geometry of the offensive line. He forces double teams. He opens lanes for edge rushers who have been stuck in traffic for half a season. These two players together can redefine the spine of the Dallas defense. Wilson on the second level, Williams on the first. And even though the analysts on ESPN made it clear that one or two players alone can't transform a fractured unit overnight, what they did acknowledge is that these pieces matter, these players matter, and the timing matters even more. Because the Cowboys are walking into the toughest stretch of their season. You cannot hide against the teams coming up on the schedule. You cannot survive without discipline, without communication, without heart. And that is why this moment is so emotional for Dallas. This isn't just about fixing a defense that has struggled statistically. This is about healing a locker room that has been hurting. It is about integrating new leaders at a moment when leadership is desperately needed. It is about honoring the memory of Marshawn Kneeland, not just with tears, but with effort, focus, and unity on the field. Dak Prescott's words about Kneeland tell the whole story. He talked about how the young safety carried himself like a veteran, how his energy was contagious, how his presence was felt even in silence. And now, Dallas plays with that absence. And that is why these reinforcements, as ESPN pointed out, come at a time when the Cowboys need not just physical help, but emotional stability. Brian Schottenheimer has had his hands full navigating not just football strategy, but the emotional state of his players. The Jones family, the front office, and the coaching staff have handled the situation with respect, compassion, and unity, and that has not gone unnoticed by national analysts. But leadership cannot remove grief. Only time can. And until then, this team must grind through it, play through it, and find identity again through collective purpose. This defense still has problems: missed tackles, soft zones, inconsistent pressure, and yes, the ghost of Micah Parsons' departure still hangs over every failed pass rush, every big play allowed, and every missed opportunity. But the additions of Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams are not just patches, they are pillars. Pillars for a defense that desperately needs structure. They are players who bring discipline, IQ, toughness, and accountability. They give Dallas a fighting chance to reset the narrative. And this is the moment for Cowboys Nation to understand the full picture. This is not the year to point fingers blindly. This is not the time to pretend football happens in a vacuum. This team has been punched in the chest emotionally. It has been exposed defensively, but it has also responded with aggressive moves, bold decisions, and the understanding that the season is not over. Dallas is not quitting. Jerry Jones made that clear. The locker room made that clear. And Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams arriving in Dallas is proof of action backing up belief. The ESPN segment highlighted exactly what the fans needed to hear. Reinforcements have arrived, but the challenge remains. And now we get to watch how this team responds. Will this defense turn the corner? Will these veterans stabilize the chaos? Will the Cowboys find identity in a moment defined by grief, adversity, and expectation? Now it's your turn, Cowboys Nation. I want to hear from you. Do Logan Wilson and Quinnen Williams have what it takes to stabilize this defense? Do you believe these moves were enough? And how do you think this team will respond emotionally in the weeks ahead? If you're part of the Dallas Game Day family, drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are riding through this season together, through the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Let's keep pushing, keep believing, and keep this community strong. The story isn't over, not even close.